Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Did you know that the most influential lady in the life of the most popular woman? World had just revealed something that will shock you all. We are talking about Lady Sarah McCorquodale, who was Princess Diana's older sister and played a part in her life that would change Diana's destiny forever. Her real name was not just Sarah. She was born as Elizabeth Sarah Lavinia Spencer on March 19, 1955, and she was the closest ally Princess Diana had. She was the best thing that had happened to Diana, but at the same time Lady Sarah is the reason why Diana's life was ruined, and at the ripe age of 60 she confirmed all the rumors that surrounded her little sister. What were these rumors? What was her life, and how did she change Diana's life? Let's get to know that all in this video. Her life was very eventful, and she was given the noble title the Honorable. This happened after her father's ascension as the 8th Earl Spencer in 1975, and she quickly adopted the title Lady. People think that Lady Sarah was born with a silver spoon and had everything laid out for her, but that's wrong. She had to fight so many things, and one of the most destructive things in her life was her battle against the devious eating disorders in her early adulthood, and the way it affected her social life was just plain terrifying. We will tell you all about it, but let's start from the beginning. After completing her education at Riddlesworth Hall and Westheath boarding school, she decided to settle for a career in London. It may sound weird, but her life was way more ordinary than one would think. She was pretty ordinary for aristocrat standards, but the one thing that made her super popular was her relation to Diana. It was so influential that the people who wanted to find anything against Diana would start pointing fingers at Sarah. The sisters had a very close bond, and that's what her enemies wanted to exploit. Sarah didn't give up, and she served as a trusted ally to Diana, even if it meant that she would be going against the royal family. When the Lady Sarah problem of Diana's marriage reached its peak, it was Sarah who acted as the sole pillar of support for her and gave her the courage to fight back. In a sense, she was the knight that Diana had, and she became the reason why Princess Diana won the war against Prince Charles. Lady Sarah was so important to Princess Diana because she motivated her, and this made her enthusiastic enough to perform all her royal duties and even offered her support and guidance when Diana needed it most. Her loyalty to Diana was always unwavering, even when the rumors about Diana hit the crazy level, and she was loyal to her after Diana's tragic death as well. Sarah is the living proof of Princess Diana's legacy, and she has been working hard ever since then to preserve what Diana had always fought for. So someone as influential and political as her must have a great story, right? You are right, so hold on tight to know about the life of Lady Sarah, and wait until you know how the closest ally of Diana was the reason why she was killed. It's a known fact that Neil McCorquodale is the infamous husband and the love of Lady Sarah's life, but before that, do you know that she was the one who was almost the Queen of England? Yes, that's right. At the age of 60, Sarah has revealed that before Diana it was Lady Sarah who was in a relationship with Prince Charles, but their romance didn't last, and Sarah rejected Prince Charles so hard that it would make the headlines for months to come. When she broke up with him, she famously declared that she wouldn't marry Charles if he were the dustman or the King of England. Even though her relationship had ended with him due to a twist of fate, she always remained in the inner circuit of Charles's social circle, and it was in the craziest way possible. After her breakup with Charles, she became a bridge that ended up introducing her younger sister Diana to the prince, and no one knew that this introduction would change the life of Diana and the royal family forever. Before we get into arguably the greatest mystery of England after Jack the Ripper, you need to know some things about the princess of the people so you can understand her better. Princess Diana, born Diana Frances Spencer on July 1, 1961, was the fourth of 5 children in the Spencer family. She was raised in the Park House of Sandringham, Norfolk, where her life became a fairy tale and she became close to the royal family. Diana's grandmother was a lady-in-waiting to Queen Elizabeth, and Diana played with Prince Andrew and Prince Edward during royal family visits to Sandringham. Despite her privileged upbringing, her parents had a strained relationship due to pressure to produce a male child. She couldn't bear this ridiculous demand as she had no control over it, but after the constant ridicule she ended up divorcing the man when Diana was only 7 years old. She lived with her father, who later became Earl Spencer, but her relationship with her stepmother Rain, who was the Countess of Dartmouth, was very bad. In that big house they used to live like Cinderella and the stepmother, but they had to compromise anyway. So the question arises, when did her life start going downhill at all? happened because of her sister, because she initiated the introduction of Diana to Prince Charles that happened in 1977. Even though she was just 16 years old, Diana was swooned over by Charles, who was 12 years her senior. The two began courting, and then things started going downhill. The biggest event in the world happened in 1981 when Diana and Charles got married, and all of a sudden a lowly aristocrat was now at the center of global fame. Was that a good thing, or was that the start of a tragedy? Stay tuned to find out. Do you guys want to know a funny thing? When Charles ended his relationship with Diana's older sister, he found Diana's innocence and charm refreshing and thought that this cute girl would never try to harm him, and even if she did want to, she wouldn't be able to do it. On the other hand, Diana, the 19-year-old girl, believed that Charles was the man of her dreams, her knight in the shining armor, and the one who would always protect her. Pretty ironic, right? If they could go back in time, they would beat their naive past selves up, but maybe it was something that fate had wanted to happen. Their first meeting was pretty short, with Diana reportedly being unimpressed by Charles, who looked kind of melancholic. This was something that she said, but what was happening on the inside no one knew. They felt a spark, and lucky for her, Charles was recovering from being dumped by her sister and the recent death of his mentor, Lord Mountbatten. Diana had no other choice but to show him sympathy, and this ended up attracting Charles. Their relationship began to blossom slowly during a barbecue, and that's when the most unexpected thing happened. They were talking sweetly, and all of a sudden Charles kissed her. This ended up being the royal start of the most notorious relationship in the world. The pair spent little time together, but because of Charles's busy schedule, their relationship surprisingly moved forward rather quickly. After only 13 meetings, Charles proposed to Diana, and after thinking much, she said yes to the man of her dreams. This proposal came before she left for Australia, and this gave her enough time to consider his offer. Diana was excited to join the royal family, but she had no idea what was about to happen. The public loved the idea of a young, beautiful woman marrying a future king, but early in their engagement, cracks began to appear in their relationship. The royal wedding response on what love means left Diana perplexed and hinted at future developments. The 1981 royal wedding of Prince Charles and Lady Diana, held at St. Paul's Cathedral, was a historic occasion witnessed by 750 million people worldwide. David and Elizabeth Emanuel designed Diana's wedding dress, which became renowned because to its 25-foot train and beautiful lace work. The world was captivated by the story of a prince and his princess. Rumors circulated about Sarah's feelings about her younger sister's marriage to her former boyfriend, despite her public support for Diana. Accused of playing Cupid in their relationship, there were rumors of jealousy and hatred. To save her sister, Sarah had to take a heartbreaking step. She had the choice of being as popular as her sister, but she quietly kept a private life so that her sister could live in peace. When Diana got into power, she showed the world just how much the royal family could change the world. A normal aristocrat of yesterday was changing the world by using the royal name, and thanks to that, Princess Diana was able to be remembered as a philanthropist and humanitarian. She was able to make a huge impact on causes like HIV/AIDS, leprosy, and anti-personnel landmines. Her effort in all sorts of things was making her popular with the public, and at the same time she was getting on the nerves of some very powerful people. When she got the hang of her duties as a royal, she first wanted to eradicate the stigma of AIDS, so she started the awareness campaign. It was because in the 1980s AIDS was heavily stigmatized, and the people who were suffering from the disease were shunned by society and were thought to be humans of nasty character. Diana defied AIDS stigma by touching patients in 1987, highlighting the need for love and support. She later became the patron of the National AIDS Trust and regularly visited the London Lighthouse, a center for HIV/AIDS patients. Another reason why she is so loved even today is because Diana was also a patron of the British Red Cross and played a big role in raising awareness of landmines through her work with the Halo Trust. In 1997, she went as far as visiting a minefield in Angola, where she walked through the dangerous area while wearing protective gear. Her efforts helped bring global attention to the devastating effects of landmines and influenced the signing of the Ottawa Treaty, which banned the use of anti-personnel mines. Other than that, Diana was even committed to fighting against the stigma that surrounded leprosy. She was very committed, and she decided to become the scandal patron of the leprosy mission in 1989 and visited hospitals worldwide to provide support for patients. People were very scared to touch these individuals, so she helped them all by physically touching those who were affected by the disease. Just by doing this, the whole world came together and they destigmatized this disease. Whenever Diana felt weak, it was Lady Sarah who pushed Diana more and more and made her realize that she held the power to change the whole world, so she kept going and set a goal to eradicate cancer from this world. She helped with the research using her name and face, and she supported charities across the globe that included Children with Cancer UK, and she even helped it launch her role as the president of the Royal Marsden NHS Foundation Trust. Made people realize just how dedicated she was when it came to children. Someone so dedicated to life and humanitarian causes must have lived a fulfilling life. The way she was good to the world should have been good to her as well, right? Maybe that was the case for most people, but guess what? Prince Charles decided to give her a surprise. News of an affair between him and Camilla Parker Bowles started to spread, and no matter how much they tried to keep it private, it ended up becoming an open secret among friends and eventually reached the public. As Diana was heartbroken and didn't know what to do, she cried on her sister's shoulder. Sarah helped Diana get back on her feet and tuned her up for the biggest fight she was about to experience. What was that? How did she deal with it? Let's find out. Hang on tight, because this is the time when you get to know what had happened. So it all began to get messed up in 1993 when a leaked phone call from 1989 between Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles ended up exposing their intimate relationship, and that was the start of the scandal that would later be known as Camilla Gate or Tampon Gate. The call became popular because of our respectable price, showing an interest in clothes, trousers to be exact. The call revealed the infamous comment of Prince Charles when he said that he wanted to live inside Camilla's trousers. This was very unbecoming of a royal member, and this damaged his reputation severely. After a lot of pressure, Charles admitted in a televised interview with Jonathan Dimbleby that he had been unfaithful to Princess Diana once their marriage had irreparably broken down in 1994, and even though he did not mention Camilla by name, his implications narrowed the cause down conveniently. This confession destroyed the aftermath, his image even further, when Princess Diana said the most iconic line in the 1995 BBC, saying that there were three of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded. This aggressive statement of hers showed that she was done playing around. She was not scared of the royals. She was not Princess Diana because she was married to Charles. She was the princess because it was the title the public gave her. While this was happening, the public was out for the blood of the royal family. The only person that they were supporting right now was Diana. She remained beloved and admired for her grace, compassion and philanthropic work. She was fighting for her honor, but after things got out of hand, the Queen stepped in and had her separate from Charles in 1992 and then officially divorced in 1996. The only thing that she lost from this was her title of Your Royal Highness, and in return she got peace of mind, a pretty good deal if you ask us. Diana then focused on raising their two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, while she agreed to co-parent with Charles just when she thought she had gotten free from the clutches of the royals and when she wanted to live her life. Tragedy occurred which made the whole world mourn for her. She wanted to enjoy her life a bit, so she went on a vacation on a cruise where she was invited by a friend. She got introduced to her friend's son Dodi Fide and something clicked. The two fell in love on that cruise and became close, but before we got to have any statements from the two of them, tragedy occurred. It all happened on August 31st, 1997, and that was when the accident happened in the Pont d'Alma tunnel as their car, which was being driven by Henry Paul, got out of control. They were in a rush because they were being pursued by paparazzi. When the car hit the pillar in that tunnel, Diana got severely injured alongside her partner Dodi Fed, and Paul died instantly after getting impaled from one of the parts that flew out. But Diana suffered a lot, and in the end she passed away at 6 a.m. the following morning from her fatal injuries. Her sudden death shocked the world, and Prince Charles, along with Diana's sisters Lady Sarah McCorquodale and Jane Fellows, traveled to Paris to bring her body back to England. At her funeral, Sarah gave a farewell speech that made everyone cry like a baby, and then her story was put to an end. Many people are enraged by the fact that the real mysteries of her death are not addressed, much like the fact that one of the bodyguards of Dodi who was in Diana's car is still alive and he claims that he had amnesia and doesn't remember anything, or that the driver was drunk. All of these conspiracy theories are left unanswered, giving the people room to talk more about that incident. So what happened on that night?